Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wisdom Factory with our series Women Matters, where we discuss among us women what we can do to create a better world. And we have our core team, that would be me, and that would be Gertraud, and that would be Monica. You will see them all afterwards. And Tammy is still trying to come in. And today we have also Fernanda. And we will give you a short introduction of everybody, and then we dive into our topic, which is how can we connect our forces and initiatives worldwide, because it is really important. Everybody is working for themselves, but alone we cannot do it. We need to connect. We need to find a way to potentiate our forces, let's say. And the discussion today is brainstorm what is already out there in the world of initiatives to connect, and what would we imagine to do. So while we are waiting that the others two, Viviane and Tammy, come in, we begin with a short introduction. And I would like, Fernanda, you are the first time with us, that you begin first. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm Fernanda Ibarra, and I'm originally from Mexico, but I live here in Oregon, in Ashland. And well, my work in social change is very diverse. I hold two main organizations, one that is called Village Lab, where we focus on communities of intent, communities of practice and place and purpose, and Metacurrency, where we develop infrastructure for the next economy. But among that, there's several little projects, and the willingness to move into community and to live in the land and to gather people that would create, thrive together, and new ways of living and being with each other. It's what drives us in our work, mostly in Village Lab. And yeah, I got a little cold by being in the beginning. I had to warm up a little. So I guess I'll present other things as we go on the call. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And we are talking about worldwide. Where in the world are you?
I'm in the United States.
Where, more or less?
In Oregon.
Okay. So who will come next?
Well, I can tell about me, my person. My name is Monika Schmidt. I'm living in Bavaria, that's Germany, in the heart of Europe, kind of. And my profession is a teacher and a coach. And right now I'm retired already, but I try and improve my skills online with ladies like you in here in our hangout. And I discovered the online world for me. I'm enthusiastic about this, and I try and find the possibilities, what we can do there, how we can improve our skills. And in this hangout or in this group with ladies, we want to stick together and try and find the forces we can support each other with. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Gertraud?
Gertraud Weeks from Germany, north of Frankfurt. And actually I think I start with my mission is being source of appreciation for people and organizations, meaning that as a coach, trainer, consultant, with my colleagues from the Appreciators, we work with companies, with leaders, and at the moment we are writing a book about appreciation in the company context, which is a transformation in itself among us and personally. Yeah, very interesting times.
Thank you. And some words about me. I'm together with Mark who is in the background and wants to listen to us, have founded the Wisdom Factory, and we are deeply inspired by integral theory and, you know, the idea of integration, our lives, the whole world, let's say. And when you're talking about what is integral, I think with short terms, we could say it's a theory of development into several levels, human development, personal development, and also in societies. And the higher we get, the more we become integrated beings. And so we are trying to arrive in the level of integration, what is called the integral level, where we can really see reality in a way which is not partial. We don't need to fight against anybody because of what they are doing, what they are saying. We can see all the good things of the previous levels because we have already run through these levels. And we don't need to make the others wrong for what they are. They are not. They are just on their stage of development. And when you come into integral, you can see that and appreciate that. While before you still have to fight against the one who, you are wrong, I have it right, you know? And we don't sort of need it anymore. We see the good and the bad of every level and try to integrate it in ourselves and in the collaboration with other people. So Fernanda or Gertraud, if you have to add something to that general introduction about integral, I would be very happy. And if not, we are going on with our topic, because what we are doing here is sort of inside the integral worldview. We won't fight against anybody. We want to try to get all energies which are available together and to create something which is good for the world, because the perspective has opened from me, or only our group, or only, you know, my country. It has got open, include the whole world and even the cosmos.
Yeah, I could add that with every level, you add new perspectives. So you can see broader, more from different angles, and have a bigger overview or more access to different perspectives. And that is not always easy, but it comes closer to what's so than just from one angle. And that there is this switch between making all the others wrong, no matter who they are and where they are, but my way is the right way. And going to, oh, there's a truth in every level, partial, sure, not the truth, but let's look for gold in there. Let's see what serves, and yeah, and go beyond. So you stop making people wrong, even yourself.
Yeah, as Ken Wilber says, nobody is smart enough to be wrong all the time. And so
Yeah,
find where they are right, you know? So, okay. Fernanda, you?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm staying with that of the multiple perspectives, or what is called a perspectivism, and then seeing how, or asking the questions, right? When you form community, when you form living with a group of people, or working closely with a group of people, where you do have a common ground, where you do have all these multiple perspectives, and what is the right and simplest way to coordinate our actions in a way that is certainly respectful of who each people are, but that moves the ball forward, right? Because as well, if we get into a tool of a broadness of everyone is right, then we don't move forward. That would be kind of the ad would be the question of a setting or a context where all this diversity. Hey, Tammy.
Hi.
Yay.
So sorry for the technical glitches.
They are what they are.
They happen.
They do. They do.
Yes.
So
Not to
we're
interrupt.
sharing. No. We're beginning our sharing. We're beginning to warm up our hands in the fire a little. And girls just were sharing about integral and how important it is to hold people's perspective, knowing that everyone has a piece of the truth and that we have to be respectful, and how the movement is really growing to include everyone. And so that inclusivity, what I was bringing is how do we work within that inclusivity when you want to move the things forward, right? In a meal, spending a meal or social time, we can, but if we want to do a project together, how do we do so? So I was bringing that into our center.
Wonderful. Heidi, you are muted.
It happens. I'm sorry. I said we began with a little introduction because Fernanda was new today and we wanted to present her to our viewers. We have already done, I think it's the 8th or 7th or 8th episode. And so we give you the chance to shortly say what you are about and in connection with our topic. How can we connect our forces in initiatives worldwide?
So shall I jump in? Sorry, I'm just orienting. Yes. So I think for me, it's really about listening to each other. Oh, welcome. Hi, Viviane.
Hi. It's taken me all this time to connect.
Yeah, that is why also Tammy had the problem, but no problem. We are here now. All together, full house. And we are doing a short presentation round. Tammy was going and you.
So it's just hurdles we mastered.
Sorry, what was that, Monica?
We mastered the hurdles.
Yes. So for me, in this space and in connecting what it is that we do, it's about listening and being curious. And I love how much richness is in this group so far, and I'm very much looking forward to hearing from you, Viviane. But I believe that we're just so rich with gifts and what we bring to the table as whole people. But we're used to understanding each other as little tiny slices. But of course, there's the richness of our experience, and there's so much more that each of us brings. So finding, I love the piece of really deeply listening to the intentions that people bring to their work and how they explore and express what their work is. And for me, what I've been really focusing on is having conversations with people for the record in these kind of live generative dialogues, like what Heidi is hosting with the Wisdom Factory, so that we can really understand each other and see how some of our little pieces can fit in with other pieces, as Fernanda just talked about. Because I think we can only understand it together. I think that process of really having that inquiry and curiosity about what it is people bring, that's kind of the magic little node that allows us to express and understand what each other brings to the table and see those connections together. So I'm really grateful to be here and to be doing this practice of sharing and peer learning, really. How to do that and how to create space for people and how to express what we really would like to express.
Yeah, thank you. and also how we can create the forces together. How can we come together? Not just we, but also in a bigger surrounding. And I say we have quite a bit of viewers, and I'm very grateful that you are here. I don't know where you are and if we can see your comments, because Google has changed a little bit everything. But if you write comments on Google Plus and probably also on YouTube, we should be able to see it. So far, I don't see any, but you can leave comments later on the website and wherever. And if you want to join us and have something to say, we create these circles for expanding our reach and inviting people into the brainstorming. But before we do that, I want to get over to Viviane. Would you like to shortly present yourself and say what you are doing to create a better world?
Well, I've always been interested in wisdom since I was a little girl, listening to both my grandmothers who were full of wisdom. And I always thought older people have more wisdom than younger people, but that's not proven to be the case always. So I'm a holistic practitioner. I have 7 degrees, 2 of which are doctorates. I have 17 submodality certifications, and I've been working in this field for over 30 years now, without dating myself, of course. And in the last 20 years, I've been able to help everyone to heal, and I help them through a methodology that I've invented that I call psycho-biophysical healing. It's my trademark, and it works on all 7 human levels, and basically it helps people to heal just about anything if they're open-minded and willing to heal. And they have to be willing to follow directions, use the tools that I empower them with, and complete all 3 sessions. It's only 3 sessions after the initial visit. So some people have said that it's quite magical and miraculous, and it has been for those people who have sought traditional, conventional medicine and not succeeded in healing at all, because conventional medicine addresses symptoms, not the root cause, which is the opposite of what I do. And then I process the root cause neurologically so people are healing. So basically I offer it across the country, and even in some cases have worked outside of the country, because we have the technology. As you can see, we can see each other, and we don't need to now just treat people in the local areas where they may not be as responsive as those of you who are wise already and who have been exposed to so much and who understand things that most people cannot even begin to explain. So I'm sorry I missed the first 15 minutes because I don't get to hear everybody, and I would love to hear what you each have to say. So if you could write a note on the side here to introduce yourselves to me so that I can understand, it would be wonderful. My intention now is to connect with people who are on the same wavelength. My tribe, basically, I'm looking for my tribe and have been all my life. And I'm not going to find them where I live. That's been very obvious. So I'm looking to connect in a way that is meaningful for all of us, for each of us, and where we can exchange support. And you know what's really interesting is that when I bring up support, people seem to have forgotten what that means. True support is listening without judgment, of course, and supporting the other people in their endeavor and their intention, whatever that may be, to achieve the best that they can achieve, without judgment, without analysis necessarily, and without some kind of us and them, because we are all one. And so when we integrate together, we can be much more powerful than we ever could have been alone. you know, you've heard two heads are better than one, and that's very crass compared to what we can do as a community of wisdom women. So, so I was very early in the co-op movement when I lived in Canada, where we actually built communities in which we lived and worked. We built the first artist community in Toronto, and it's been copied in many other communities. Thank you for putting in something about yourselves. Now, I hope it can stay on because I'm missing it. So basically, what I just wanted to share was the idea of building a cooperative movement among ourselves so that we can be better than alone, so that together we can elevate not only each other but the world. And that's basically what I can say at this time.
Thank you. I think we are under the same roof here. And I was very much thinking about Fernanda, who is, would you like to explain a little bit more of what you are doing, Fernanda, with Village Lab and these communities? Because it's exactly parallel, you know? So.
Thank you. Yeah, as when you say tribe, Monica, that like totally rings into my heart. Digo, Viviane, sorry, learning the names. It totally rings into my heart. That's what we do. You know, it's like we do communities, and many people say, "Oh, build it, and there will come." And we say, "No, get your tribe first. You know, the people that you want, that you resonate with, the people that you trust, that you could go into complexity, and you can, you know, go and navigate into whatever storms, and that they can have your back and you have theirs." And I I ended looking for the tribes. I've seen many come together, and so we're always in the wonder of how 1 becomes 2, becomes 4, becomes 8, becomes 16, and there's all these complexities, right? Because of human ego, and a lot of shadow, and not clear processes and agreements, and stepping up the boundaries. But all that can be worked out, focusing on the love of our hearts, and each of us in our personal work. So clearly important that we have a way to work with ourselves and our own shadow first before joining anyone and any other tribe. So you know, any tool that works for that is of supreme importance, of healthy individuals coming together. And when I say healthy, I mean in the word of dealing with their own shadow, taking responsibility for themselves first. So in Village Lab, what we do is we take care of a lot of land projects, mostly communities that are sprouting all over the West Coast. It's just incredible. It's like thousands. And we get together with different networks as well, and finding what are the leverage points in between those communities. Because part of what happens is that the people that live in community, they need so much energy just to pull the community up. You know, it's not easy to live in the land and to work in your own food and to make your own systems, and then that's it, that's your life. But other communities are more urban communities, and there's so many modalities, co-householding, you know, groups of people living in the same house. I mean, there's all sorts of people not even living together, but just coming into a core intention of, you know, whatever, creation or their own personal development, or, you know. So that's what we do. We help such groups, and what we do is whole systems design. So everything from eco technologies, which there's so many people that we doing that we don't focus much on that. Our focus is more on the social, in the power structures for, you know, sharing power with others, and the economical systems, you know, how they're going to work together and have a sustainable, thriving lifestyle. And looking into the movement and saying, what is a connective tissue? What do all need? What is in common? What is our challenges right now? What is present that we need all to address together? So that's kind of the variety of the questions that we hold. And cooperatives, for example, we think a lot about them because they can be a beautiful network of cooperatives around different types of communities, and we need to think about that kind of economic systems that weave the network, that get a network and convert it into an ecosystem, you know. So that's one of our questions: how do we bring a network and then build, generate, create an ecosystem?
So how is it working? How is the idea? I know, Tammy, you are working in that too a little bit. How can we imagine, for instance, economic system? We know that one, yeah. How could we imagine a different one? How could that be, with living together or being together in communities, and just brainstorming? How could that look like? I ask to everybody this question: how would you envision, or how would you like to live in the future with a different economic system, the group, and how could this system look like? Viviane?
Well, I've just got an idea.
Okay, good.
I'm not a professional in economics, not at all. But what I've learned with the online world and online marketing is a different point for the customer. If the customer doesn't find what he's seeking, he just clicks on to the next shop. That's not possible in the real world. Therefore, the behavior of the customers have changed. So the online marketers have to ask, how can I serve my customer so that he will stay on my site? And I think in real world and real economy, this kind of thinking should spread much more. So in former times, the shop owners have their stuff, what they can offer, and while the customers come, there is no alternative for the customers. They have to come. They cannot drive onto the next city or into the next country. So they have to be here and buy from you, or have their affairs with you. But now with in the online world, I will focus on this new thinking, the thinking to jump into the shoes of the customer and the point of view of the customer, and how can I serve the needs of the customer. So that's for new economy. I haven't experienced this in my childhood, in my earlier life, but that's really new with the online life. But we can adopt this in the real life, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Did you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I really invite you to jump in immediately without waiting for me to say now you and now you and now you. Okay.
Well, I just wanted to add to this in the sense that when we form a cooperative kind of movement, it's just that. There is no competition. There is no, I have to hold on to these people. The economic factor is really worked out one step at a time. Everything is worked out, the rules of the co-op, how you're going to live together, what you're going to do, what your role will be in this co-op. The rules are worked out democratically, and we all had a vote. I mean, we weren't a small community. We were about 300 people once we got it started. There were only a handful of us artists starting it, and then a whole bunch of people joined in. And each of those people had to be interviewed by the core groups to make sure that they would fit in with the idealism that we all brought to the table. So we had to actually formulate a plan that would work for everyone. And at the same time, there goes the doggy, at the same time, we had to be fair to everyone and make it a community in which everyone has a voice. Everyone is able to participate with their own gifts, whatever they may be. And so we were able to find people who wanted to live in a in a sort of community where there would be no tension, where we would all be collaborating with each other, loving each other, supporting each other, and working together. And some people call that socialism, and it can be a form of socialism that is positive for everyone. And so it worked. Now, we had help from every level of government, donating land, donating the resources, and so on. And we interviewed everybody from beginning to end, like, for example, the architects who formulated the original plan, and then the builders, and then choosing everything that had to go into the co-op. So it's complicated, but at the same time, it doesn't have to be very difficult to work out, as long as you have people who understand the meaning of the word cooperative.
Go ahead, Veranda, I saw you. You are muted.
No, I do this like a resonance. You're saying yes in silence.
So one of the pieces that that I think is important for us to kind of conceive of together is to look behind what the economy has been. The economy is created by people, but it's not been thoughtfully created. And so when you look at some of the work that people are doing all over the world with, you know, with co-ops, and the work that Fernanda's doing with Village Labs, there are these new ways of relating together, and also new ways of understanding what is of value, and what value is, and how that aligns with our values. So I see a need for us to first understand how our current economic system has been developed, and to understand that it's actually not been developed for people. It's been developed for people under the law, or corporate bodies, and that there is this reality that exists that isn't necessarily in service to humanity and to people. And so some of the things that I'm seeing is that all around the planet, people are creating new ways, new and old ways, to be able to trade together, share together, be together, work together, live together, and that in this modeling of what it is that we can do, we can trade what's really working, and what are the challenges we're facing, and so that we can understand behind the context that we just accept, right? So the way the economy works, many people, it's hard to understand. I've spent 3 or 4 years really looking at it, trying to be like, well, why is it so broken? And where are those points of empowerment for us to be able to envision and create something different, that and it pushes against some of our common assumptions that we have. So there's this kind of, or what it is that we understand the world to be in many ways, because at the end of the day, the economy really does drive what's possible. And so we need to look at that. And so, I would say there's hundreds of millions of people all over the planet that are leaning into something new. And as we connect, we just become stronger, because we understand we are looking in the same direction together, which is, I think, one of the things that I love about doing this work in a conversation, and finding that resonance where we can understand each other and can see that, oh, we're actually looking at the same thing. We have different language, and we have different ways that we want to meet those challenges, but that it is part of a coherent whole, and a part of a coming to coherence movement, where we can really apply our gifts and skills and abilities and knowledge and wisdom And so that journey has a place for every one of us. And I think that this practice of listening to each other and coming to understanding is one of those pieces. And that's where my passion lies, is how do we listen long enough to each other to understand the beautiful gifts that we're bringing to the table so that they can be received and held and therefore of value.
Yeah, thank you. I want to play a little bit the devil advocate. You know, we are now 6 people talking together, and in the room, maybe now there are 10 or 15, or, you know, and later other people will watch it, but we won't have hundreds and thousands of people watching that. So what need is it that we 6 talk together? I first want to offer the first answer. If you are familiar with the work of Rupert Sheldrake, who talks about the fields, morphogenetic fields, and that we are already now creating a field where we invite others. And the more we give energy into this field, the more it can expand and become more stable. And even if we are only 6 and I don't know, 100 people at the end listening, it's not really a problem, because we do it again and we do it again. And every time we do it, we will reinforce this field. And then other people will join it. First saying, what are they saying here? Or is it really? And then maybe sooner or later, they will join into the field and give more energy. And I think change probably, that's my idea, will happen in this way, and not by a government saying we do everything differently. So my kitty is coming here again, I'm sorry.
I would like to add another idea to it. It's not opposite to that, it's just infusing it. I'm by working on the book, I'm working a lot and looking for the signs of happiness. And there are very interesting people working on it. And what I went deeper into was with Dan Gilbert, who talks about synthesized happiness. I think you know that he did those research projects with people winning the lottery and being paraplexic, and after a year they are both as they were before that happened. So and that he says synthesized happiness. So what I, in my frontal cortex, what I presume that the reality is more important than what the outer world does. So we have that experience simulator that we can foresee, like a pilot can foresee how to move in the world and how the world would be before we actually experience it. But it's real and it's stable, and it even makes a difference in, I don't go too deep into that, but it even makes a difference in people that have amnesia and don't know it. They create it, forget it, and the whole system reacts nevertheless more happy than before, or distinct from before. So for me, it's being with reality, listening into being connected, and having that, yeah, synthesize our new way of being together, which will be even more real than the real world now is, that we don't like anymore. And I like that. I like that too. It's not just pouring pink sauce over something. It's real. I mean, it's real in our fabric, in our brains. It works. And what you said, Heidi, that we weave that field and buy crazy people that say it's possible. It's just, I think this saying, everybody said it's not possible till somebody didn't know and did it. So yeah, that's what I mean. If we don't go back and say, yeah, but I don't know, be in this world, really simulate it as if it was true. And then this lie, this synthesized, this not natural world will be normal. And I think that drives me. That happiness, appreciation, that's synthesized. As the other stuff is default or also not true. It's just a story that people kept on telling each other. It became real, but if we undo that story, if we don't tell that anymore, not our daughters and sons and nephews and whomever. So I'm hot.
We are weaving a new story together.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. And it's happening in here. I mean, it's happening in the real tissue. And that's what really makes me, we have that, our ancestors didn't have that. This is why we have that big brain. Because we have that wonderful simulator. Yeah.
Thank you. We'll see who you have inspired to jump in now. If not, I say something. As you said, it is so, you can do it with happiness and appreciation. What we normally do is the other way around, no? We do it with blame and with negative thought. So we have both possibilities, and only the negative things that seems to be normal, you know. And I think this is what Viviane is working with, this convictions we have in our minds, the belief system we have in our minds, which we need to change, and then reality changes with it. First the personal reality, and when the personal reality changes, we infect the people around us, and they're like little nucleuses, no? And get bigger and bigger, and at the end they come together. So what you said, Tammy, at the beginning, it is so important to work on the shadow, everybody. We call it shadow, you know, the limitations we have, or sometimes expressed in pain or illnesses or whatever. But it's nothing else than shadow work to clean up the inner, how can I say, obstacles to being the best self we could be, and we can be, and discovering the possibilities we really have. Even it was nice when you said it, Gertrude, that the first person who didn't know about it, and he just tried it. When everybody says it's not possible, it's exactly, we always tell ourselves this, it's not possible. And so how can it be possible? So, and I'm really glad that you work in this positive direction without being, we say blue-eyed, you know, in German, with seeing the whole reality, but focusing on this direction. It's really great.
It's also very difficult to be positive all the time on your own without having someone else or a community of people to validate what you're saying. And that's so important. You know, I work in in a field in which no one else has ever offered any kind of support. So, well, I had support from my significant other who passed away not too long ago from cancer suddenly in 2 months. So that was pretty shocking. But at the same time, to find oneself alone and really building something that no one has ever seen or understood. When I tell people about my healing method, they say, well, I've never heard of it before, so how can it be effective? Well, you haven't heard of it before because you haven't worked with me before. It's something I've invented, so it's new. And it's not so new in that I've invented many years ago, but people think it's new because it works on the cutting edge technology of the brain. So people have to be open to spreading those areas that have closed off, to being able to say, I'm willing to look at something from a completely different perspective. And that's where, what you said, Gertrude, was to be positive, to look for the positive, and to look at how happiness is created. Happiness is not created from the outside in, it's created from the inside out. And that's exactly why it works and how it can work. And it's a matter of making it through all the criticism and all the complaints. And I tell people, if you want to kill a relationship, there are 3 C's, control, criticism, and complaint. And that's what kills any kind of relationship. It can be just a friendship as well. So it's a very thin line we walk, but we have to constantly bolster ourselves up and remember that we are not alone, even though we seem to be alone.
Yeah, thank you, Viviane. I see we have about 10 minutes and we have the topic, how can we connect our forces and initiatives worldwide? I would invite you to have some thoughts about that. We are doing our thing. I'm in Italy, in Germany, in America, in Canada, and who knows where else. How can we really connect apart from talking here on wonderful Hangouts? How could we collaborate?
Well, I see in our viewers can't see, but in our group chat, there's a lot of connections and information that people are inspired to share. And so part of it, I think, is seeing, how we can work more closely together, what resources and what connections we can see to give people so that their work can progress. And yes, Fernanda, connected intelligence. If we can really connect what it is that we're bringing to the table in real relationships and actions that we take moving forward, I think that's part of how we do it. And so it's following through and following up and continuing to progress and include these ideas in what we're doing, and really think of how we can be of service for other people to bring them that next little piece that they might need, or connect them with someone who there's some beautiful potentiality in how their work can help to progress each other. So yeah, modeling what it is to cooperate, collaborate, and co-develop and co-learn.
Yeah. There is Monica who wants to have participants, our viewers, and with her comment, oh, it doesn't show up. Hi, here it is. She is writing what you have said, how to kill a relationship, control, criticism, and complaints. Thanks to Dr. Viviane Carson. Yes, turn it into positive and knowledgeable communication and keep our relationships alive. Yes, 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 Monica. And I come from the relationship side. I think the primary relationships we have, we need first to work on them and really get them go on a very intimate level and, you know, find a way of not fighting in our primary relationships, but collaborate there. And then we will be able to go out and collaborate with others. But before, when at home we fight all the time, I mean, how can you expect that in the workplace or in a community you would be collaborative? You just haven't learned it. And I think it's really a question of learning. We need to learn that collectively. We need to learn. This would be my last word. There are other people still here to say a last word about this. What's it?
I think I would like to add to that in terms of relationships, which is, for me, relationships extends beyond the, you know, human level. So it's our relationship with money as well. We might take a while until we change the monetary system or some new systems come through, or cooperatives are closer to us, but we can shift our relationship with money. We can shift our relationship with each other and create harmony and value together and focus on ourselves. And part of that perception is the perception of being isolated versus knowing that it's all interconnected. You just look at nature and you are interconnected, and you go into a certain experience of spirituality and you know it. It's an experience that is grounded in our cells, and it's part of the connective tissue. How do we work together? It's like we are doing it. If you're doing your work and I'm doing my work and we're all working for the goodness of the whole, we are connecting to something larger than ourselves. You know, of course, we would want more, you know, nitty gritty together and actions together, but we do affect those that are closer to us in close relationship with each other. So that would be my add on the relationships.
Thank you. Somebody playing the piano or practicing music.
Yeah, I would like to go next because what you said, Fernanda, I think that is, for me, that is very crucial. Know that the universe is a good place, to know that we are interconnected, to know that we are connected with nature, with everything around, and acting locally, or acting in first with ourselves. So appreciation, love, whatever, that starts within myself, happiness, and pouring out into the relationships around me, and to have both, not actionism or like in Orange, you have to check out what you have to do and act and predict and control and then act again. And but being in, coming from being, and then that pours out into the world, and not being afraid if I miss out on something, or I should have done, or all these. It's more like coming from that place and say, okay, now that's a good next step. That's a good, and I would like Fernanda said about village lab, and I said, Teal Village, Victor, I need to connect those two. So it's like, trust your heart and guts, and know of that connection. Now I know that you exist. I will not forget that. So that lasts over this, beyond this call. And hopefully we'll meet again. And it made a difference meeting you right now. And thank you very much. It was so great to finally meet you, Fernanda. We tried several times, and now Viviane, and I'm so grateful for the connection. And one last saying is that Heidi, Tammy, and I, we met in the Unity and Diversity project, and out of this, to midwife a system of influence that nurtures, celebrates, and whatever work that matters and enlivens. So that's still going on. We are part of that, and we are part of that big, big, big worldwide system of influence that is emerging right now. So.
Thank you, Gertrude. And I wanted to really thank you for saying that, because this is a satisfaction for me, really, because the Wisdom Factory, we wrote it as a subtitle, connecting people who have wisdom, experience, and knowledge to share with the world. And now you found the connection, and that's, thank you. Wonderful. So there's still Monica and Viviane. Monica is busy posting links into the comment stream of the page.
Okay, yeah, but I would like to tell you some personal experience with you ladies in here, because when I heard Viviane telling about what you have set up, I was reminded to my experience I had 30 years ago when I did my first courses on kinesiology. I don't know the English word on this, and I was always thinking about, wow, with this kinesiology, you also could reach out to the brain and go deeper, because it's all imprinted into your body, what you ever have experienced. And for me, kinesiology was the only way to reach out to these deep layers. You all have been talking about the deep layers you cannot reach out with your everyday brain too. So I'm glad there is a kind of circle coming to be closed, because there are more people thinking on this way, not only me. And I did not create something new. I got stuck somehow for some reason. I don't know exactly, but I'm happy you brought this up again. That's great, really great. Well, there was some more I would tell, but maybe we keep this for the next time. Okay, thank you all for being here, and thank you for watching, and thank you for telling. So, okay.
Last not least, Viviane.
I think I'm muted. Thank you for including me in this group. I'm looking forward to meeting you all again. I hope we do meet often, and that we can connect in this really meaningful way. And I'm very uplifted by all of you. So thank you so much. And thank you, Heidi, for organizing all this. Thank you so much.
So we are in a round of the thank yous. I thank you all, and I thank my husband, Mark, because since I know him and we are together, I got the support I needed to do what I'm doing. So it's really alone. You can do something, but it's not the same thing.
And I got the kick in the butt to do some things that done.
Yeah, so thank you everybody who has watched. There's Aline, I will answer to you directly afterwards. And everybody else who we don't know who they are, but join us again in 2 or 3 weeks. We will come together with a new topic, maybe with a similar topic. We will talk about it now. And bye-bye, and thank you everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.